Hi, we're back.
Hi, Jen Shah.
It's the only opener
Where
for
were
this
you
episode.
when you heard?
The thing is, unlike a lot of things, I have always thought this woman was guilty. And so when I heard, I was like, oh, okay.
That's exactly
sense.
how I felt.
Like,
it was really not a shock. It wasn't like
wasn't a shock.
It wasn't a shock. Amazing. It was really like it felt like I was just okay. I'm gonna go about my day.
Exactly.
The one thing that was the remarkable thing to me was the just like full admission from full denial to full admission. Like that was hilarious.
It was okay. So, and if you haven't heard, I assume if you're listening to this podcast, watching, whatever, you've heard this already. But Real Housewives of Salt Lake City star Jen Shah, who'd been accused of running a nationwide telemarketing scheme targeting seniors, pleaded guilty to wire fraud on Monday in a dramatic courtroom reversal. She has been saying she's not guilty for a whole season. I assume the season they just filmed, she will be saying that she is innocent for the entire season.
And they had a scene last season where her mother and she have this conversation where her mother's given how much money? Like $1 million?
Like her 401k.
And she's like, and Jen's like, I swear on my children, I swear I'm innocent. And just seeing her family get roped into this the whole season.
I mean, the first thing I thought of really was that video of the two boys and like the dad, Sharif, getting like dragged out from that Ring camera and all that shit. And it's like, you're putting them through so much because not only have you been like knowingly committing wire fraud for like a decade, you also knowingly signed up for such a public platform.
That's the most insane part of it. It's not just this, the crime itself is crazy,
of course,
but the level of sociopathy to put yourself on national television where all your receipts are on air, put your children on air, like to do it so publicly is beyond. I mean, I don't know if someone like this, I don't know how often people get away with this kind of thing, but I'd imagine putting yourself on a national TV show is guaranteed you're not going to get away with it.
She said in court that she knew it was wrong and many people were harmed, and I'm so sorry. She admitted that she agreed with others to commit with wire fraud and knew it misled victims, over 10 of which were over the age of 55. It's just like, so you just knew this whole time.
She just knew.
And of course she did. There were so many signs stacked against her. Like everyone around her had already switched their plea to guilty. So again, not a surprise. But the fact that she pulled like the wool over her entire family's eyes, like has done this horrible thing.
Remained on television throughout it.
Yes. And like maintained her innocence for so long. And it's also like, I am positive they're going to put cameras up for season 4 of Salt Lake City so they can follow her right into the jail.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be like Jersey with Teresa and everything.
It is.
So then she's going to 11 to 14 years in federal prison.
Yes.
And that's a lesser sentence.
Yes.
She's going to miss her children's upbringing.
Yes.
She will not be there for like the things she apparently cared so much about. If you are a caring parent, how can you do that to your children?
I cannot imagine it. It is horrifying. And I think they have to pay like $9 million
millions
in restitution.
To bring it back, to get it back to the victims. I mean, I love, like, in terms of housewives crimes, if no one dies, if, you know, I like when it's money. It's so sad that this is to elders who are being manipulated. It is a terrible crime. Like, she should have consequences.
Absolutely.
I really like when they just like don't pay their taxes.
Yes, that's my favorite housewife crime.
Or like they secretly did some stupid business fraud that really doesn't hurt anybody.
Yes.
This is one of those where you're like, you got to go to prison.
You got to go.
This is bad.
And it's like, I feel like as liberal people, we're all pushing towards like, abolition of all of this. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm there yet. Because I do want to see her in prison. Because this is so wrong.
Agreed. 100%. There needs to be a consequence for this. And because it's like, this is like a pure crime of greed.
Ugh. And also, they were filming, like Heather and Meredith were in New York because I guess they're Team Jen now this season.
Yeah, the night before, Meredith posted something on Instagram like, in our justice system, you're innocent or something.
Until proven guilty.
And it aged like milk, like overnight, just fully, nope, you're wrong.
Yeah, she had to delete the story because within 24 hours, she had pled guilty. And it's like,
hey, we've all been that friend.
We've all been, look, I will back you up.
That's how I'm saying, like, whatever you have done, even beyond, I would still say you're innocent.
Honestly.
If you were Jen Shah, forget it.
I know, same. If you were Jen Shah, I would love you forever.
I'd say I am one of the elders that you defrauded, and I want it.
Yes.
I'm grateful
I'm
for
grateful.
it.
I think they've improved all of our lives as a fraudster.
Yes. They call that the bury the body friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's what we are.
Everyone needs at least one.
Oh my God, you're lucky to have one.
Is it bad that sometimes this has nothing to do with Ultimate Girl Trip, sorry, but is it sad that sometimes I feel worse for people who don't have friendships, like don't have a bury the body friend, more so than I feel like people are missing in most relationships in life? Because like is this not the point of living?
I think so.
I think so.
If you ask me.
You ask me.
I think a lot of people who are in relationships are, as we've seen on Housewives, the men are not good.
That is the kindest way to put that. The men are not good.
And I'm sorry, who's with you through it all?
Of
no
it.
matter what. The friend.
The friend.
The friend.
So everybody go get you a friend.
Go get your friend. I think if you don't have one, I've heard online there are communities where like people meet like friends through fanfic, and
yes, totally.
you can find friends. They don't have to be in your neighborhood.
Right. You don't have to have grown up with them.
Friendfinder.com.
Hey, there's meetup.com.
Meetup.
I've been in a meetup group since before the pandemic, and I can still not bring myself to go to one of the meetups.
What is it?
It's just one of the meetup, like gay black men in LA kind of thing.
You should go.
I should go, but I'm always like, oh, so many new people.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming. But but then you remember they're all there for that reason.
That's true.
So you're not entering a party where it's like, why is he here? It's like literally the point is get you to meet people.
Right.
So
that's true.
You can just dip your toe.
I gotta
Do
dip.
you have someone who you could force to go with you that you know even like peripherally? That also helps when you have like somebody.
I have some people that I could know, but I don't know them well enough
to invite them.
I feel.
Yeah, I get that. I hate that. I exactly know what you're talking about when you're like, oh, it's so intimidating.
It's just intimidating. Like I don't know. I'm better with someone I know than I am with just like on my lonesome.
I totally get that.
So.
I think that's normal.
All right.
Yeah.
Should we dive into the episode of Ultimate Girls Trip? This is episode what, 6?
Christmas in September.
Christmas in September. I love that cold open is Jill texting Dorinda. Hey D, so happy we cleared the air. Love Jill. Love that she loved Jill's her text. Like she has her name at the end. The thing is, okay, I've been late on this train. You guys called this from the get-go. But the fact that Marcos, the only person that speaks in the cold open of this episode, like, sound the alarm. This is not okay.
Sound the alarm.
And I was like, oh, maybe he's cute under there. Like, I'm interested. What's going on with Marco?
Marco doesn't want to be there.
Cut him out.
I'm not getting even, like, if Marco felt enthusiastic for the mission he's on,
right.
And this was exciting for him, he's just not giving anything.
It's also like, this is Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, not Real House, like...
Marcos.
House Marcos. It's true. They were considering that. I just couldn't believe the confessional. I couldn't.
No.
Awful. All right, so then it starts, Dorinda and Eva start talking. It got so negative and so dark. And then whenever anyone says anything to Dorinda this whole morning of like, I can't believe you went that low. And she's like, you say that, but me and Jill have really come to a good place. She texted me this morning. We're in a great place. And it's like, okay, that's one of the like 4 people that you've violently attacked verbally over the past couple of weeks. I also think it's funny because we get apologies between Jill and Dorinda and between Vicki and Dorinda throughout this episode. And it's like, current day right now, they hate her, don't they?
Yes.
Is it just from rewatching the show? I know Vicki said that Bluestone Manor was old, which it is, and so Dorinda went on a whole rampage about that.
I did appreciate Dorinda having, which we didn't see much in New York, regret for drinking so much.
Yes.
And regret for her behavior.
Yes.
I thought that was really nice to see because, I mean, frankly, sometimes that's all you want from her.
Honestly. And the thing is, it brings me back to that season with Tinsley at the reunion. If she had just said full-throatedly, I am so sorry for the way I treated you, that would have done a lot for us. And she couldn't do it. She got fired. And now she's correcting the error, which I appreciate as well. The apology seems sincere. I will say, I feel like this whole episode, producers talked to each one of the cast members and were like, hey, it got too dark. You need to lighten it up.
I could see it because also people were like missing for parts of the episode.
Yes.
There was a big chunk without Brandi and a big chunk without Taylor.
Yes.
So maybe they were like, you two just take a break,
Yes.
step aside. We're going to figure out how to do a really joyful day.
And then the way it ends with them is like, is this better? Is this better or is this worse? We'll get to it, but it was a moment. Blah, 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 blah. Jill describes her dress as hooker chic, which I'm like, no, it's not. Dorinda and Jill are doing daily hugs now. Brandi is not going to let it go, and she needs more than just an apology. But then essentially Dorinda gives her that apology. Brandi kind of pushes back a bit and is just like, you shouldn't have been referencing my children. You shouldn't have referenced anything. This fight didn't have anything to do with you. But at the end of the day, the apology ended it, right? Like, it was over. There was a lot of like, oh, I'm not going to take that. But she took it. I thought it was so annoying, that confessional where Dorinda is crying about this week being a failure. I didn't make it nice. And she starts crying. And it's like, Dorinda, you spent half this season making fun of the other women for crying about something. And like, this is the dumbest of the things anyone's cried about in this house.
I know. And believe me, you made it nice every single day. You put the book out. Make it nice is happening. I'm so sorry.
If you had to hear a phrase for the rest of your life, would you rather hear I make it nice or whoop it up? Like, one has to be retired, because I love the show. It's lovely.
But I did appreciate whoop it up this week because Vicki's so low. So it's annoying when it's like, whoop it up, whoop it up, whoop it up. And she's high and everyone else needs to be at her crazy level.
Yes.
But her super low, I can't whoop it up.
I can't whoop it up. I can't fake it.
I think that is funny. So I'll take whoop it up. How about you?
I think you're right. Because the thing is, and I feel like a lot of my feelings about these housewives changed this episode. By the end of the episode, I was like, I get why people like Vicki.
Well, we'll get to that. Yes. There was one particular scene where she made me laugh so hard.
I couldn't believe it.
It was not typical for her, though. They were kind of painting it like, oh, typical Vicki, but that's actually not true.
Okay, because I'm like, okay, maybe she's delusional, unintentionally funny, and like, I'm understanding more than anything else I've seen of Vicki.
Just to jump ahead and we'll get there.
Yes.
She at some point is crying and sad and she's like, we're all going to die, which was so funny and relatable because like we should all be talking about death all the time.
Of course.
And she says, put on my tombstone, she died sad.
She died sad.
Oh my God. I laughed so hard at that. Genuinely.
So fucking funny.
We've all been there. Yes. When you're in a breakup and you're just like, I'm going to die. She died sad. Like it was just super human, relatable, like
100%,
real
100%.
and self-deprecating. And that is what I love in like a funny housewife.
Absolutely.
Is like they're ahead of the joke.
Yes.
I loved that so much. I just thought, oh my God, I wish she wasn't everything else because this is who I want on Housewives.
And was she like that on OC? Really?
Absolutely
no.
not.
Okay.
They cut to her thinking, which is really funny. Like, I'm sad we're gonna die, which like also very, very funny. But that was not. I don't think I would characterize her as saying that. Like that wasn't actually within her norm.
All right, because I was thinking, okay, this is what she is, and now I get it. But you're saying it's not her.
No,
okay.
It's not. It's
so
not.
She's still,
it's very funny.
So she does not need to be brought back, is what you're saying.
I think especially COVID vaccine wise, we don't need that.
We don't need that. It's true. Phaedra says too many bitter Bettys holding on to yesteryear. They're going to a winery today. I can't get my head around. Does Eva have a podcast or a radio show? She referred to it as a podcast this past episode, but it's been a radio show.
There's like no mic plugged in. It's just fully her talking to a doll in the closet.
I could be that because I just...
Well, neither of us have also heard of it, so we...
I assumed it was that show that Portia was on, that Eva filled in on. Remember that radio show? Was it Ricky Smiley? Something like that.
Maybe Eva doesn't even know.
I'm sure she doesn't. Dorinda canceled Christmas last night, but she uncancels it today. I'm bored. Yes, the we're all gonna die moment. If I die right now,
so funny.
Tell everybody that she died sad.
That is so sincerely funny.
Absolutely, it was.
Like it reminds me of like the original Jill Bethany funny.
Yes,
like the kind where sometimes in Housewives you're like it's not even I'm laughing at them. I'm like literally laughing because you're
absolutely.
funny.
It's I feel like that and Brandi thinking that Dorinda was Brandi's mother's age are the two funniest moments so far.
I agree.
Loved them both. And again, I am a Jill apologist, but I do appreciate that when that she directly confronts Taylor about like, hey, you brought this up last night out of nowhere, and it seemed like you were just trying to bring Brandi back to a bad place. What was that about? Because Vicki and Tamara and Brandi are just kind of, gossiping about it behind her back. And I appreciated that Jill had the one-on-one discussion with her because it didn't make sense. But I do think this whole episode, we were kind of sweeping Brandi's comment under the rug because Dorinda one-upped her on it. But it's like, guys, what Brandi said to kick this whole thing off was truly vile. It's vile enough that it got cut out of the episode. So I get that we're liking Brandi, but like, let's address that too. And I felt like we weren't. Tamra and Phaedra scene was also another scene where I was like, all right, Tamra, because Tamra was
doing some producing in that
scene. She had the producer hat. She's like, I just want to know more about your relationship.
Phaedra doesn't share enough. Who's your boyfriend? Blah, blah, blah. Like, really pulling.
This is producer Tamra.
You can see Phaedra looking like, can we walk back yet? Like, where are we? I am done. I don't want to be here.
It was the Tamra that they talk about in From Diamonds, and Not All Diamonds in Rosé.
Yes.
Because it was like, she is the producer.
And we got like a little with Phaedra's. Did we know before that her guy's a physician?
Nope. Didn't know that he had met the kids. Didn't know. So I guess he's very real.
Phaedra's doing a good job of keeping it quiet.
She is. And I mean, we'll get to it, but I will say I turn on Phaedra because the thing is, this also feels like producer fed because now it's happened twice where some housewives like, let's discuss how we got fired from our show. Phaedra? And every time she's like, no, I won't speak about it. No, I won't speak about it. And I will say Phaedra's confessional in which she was like, the reason I got fired was a bunch of BS. And basically there are two sides of every story and the truth. And we only got to hear one side and like sipped her little Coke. It's like, okay, I'm reminded why I hate you. This is unacceptable. What you did was horrible. And also, you were given so much of a runway to get your side out there on the reunion. There were 4 parts of that reunion. You had a whole hour to talk about it. You're being given a runway to talk about it now so that they could put you back in the fold, and you refuse to. Like, this is the problem.
Great lawyer.
Like, yes, aren't you a lawyer? This is why you lost all of Bobby Brown's cases. Like, what is going on? The thing is, it just makes her look more guilty, the fact that she won't even acknowledge, like, yeah, what I did was really bad. So, okay, whatever. Also, another questioning of her lawyerism. Apollo appealed their divorce and won?
I don't know what that is.
I didn't know that was a thing.
I didn't even know you could appeal a divorce.
I didn't either.
Can you appeal? Is it like the terms of the divorce, or is it irreconcilable differences versus whatever? I don't know. I don't understand.
We need to look into it, and it does not speak well of Phaedra's lawyering abilities. Tamara requests that Phaedra talk to Dorinda about her anger because she gets her words out well and is soft-spoken. She's like, sure, okay, we're all going to the winery. Phaedra gives like kind of
It is funny that all day they're like, we're not going to drink today, we're not going to drink today, and we're going to a winery.
I know, it's brilliant.
Yes.
It's brilliant. Also, just thinking back, what is Jill wearing in that confessional where she has the like orange caftan on and maybe
with the
shoulders? Shoulders are out, and then like black like armbands, like Avril Lavigne.
Like wristbands.
Yes.
Athletic wristbands.
I love Jill. Doesn't look good.
I wonder what was on the bottom.
I don't want to know.
Oh, okay.
I think it's too dark for us to know.
Dark.
You know, it's too dark, like last episode. Phaedra opens up a favorite book of prayers and then calls out Dorinda at some point about like, this is a chance for you to grow. And Dorinda doubles down on being proud to fix her relationship with Jill. And yeah, all of that BS about Phaedra and why she left. And then Brandi says, again, there are moments where Brandi is so clear and so right on the money. They flash back to them being in the car on the way to the winery. And Brandi says, people want to see season 1, 2, 3, Dorinda. You'll be put on pause forever if you keep acting like this.
True.
That's what we've all said.
It's true.
And I think Dorinda hears it because she does try to make a change. She curbs her drinking this episode. She even fades in the background for moments during like the Christmas nonsense. And I think it's the best she's come across all season.
I agree.
Then we talk about fun memories. Like, I don't know why Taylor's fun memory was Camille dancing, but whatever. Tamara getting engaged, Dorinda having people to the Berkshires the first time. I'm glad they showed Carol making up the name Bluestone Manor, because she did.
She did.
Justice for Carol.
True writer.
Jill's favorite trip was Morocco. Brandi loved hanging out with LVP. Jill says at some point, I was on a lot less than all of you, which is not true. She was on longer than Taylor. Eva had to have been, and I think Brandi was on the same amount of time. I love that Dorinda opens her Vicki apology with, I am not a bad person, which is where all great apologies began. Dorinda and Vicki make up, even though, like, but because Dorinda's like, I just saw you on television. I thought you were very strong, and seeing you be upset about this guy made me upset, and it made me take it personally about my house or whatever, which kind of makes sense, kind of was believable. Like, these are the best apologies Dorinda's ever given over her course of her time on being housewife. We then pretend Christmas in September is a thing. Fine. They all like this episode was a bit of a filler. Like, I like that it's lighter. I like that they're making up. I like that Dorinda is coming around. But
it was all sort of a vehicle toward, are all these women pan? That was like where we got at the end, which I find nice.
Yes.
Okay, here's what I'll ask. And I don't mean to be like SJW white lady about it.
Yes.
Are we seeing across different shows the sexualization of black people in a way that is anyone else noticing this?
I'm glad.
Are you noticing this?
I didn't have to be the first one to say
Okay.
it. Because I felt that as well, because everyone's top 3 included. And sure, Eva is a model. So
yes,
like
Eva's a model. Like also
all the women are gorgeous. I get that.
But I feel maybe, and it's also just because of what happened on Beverly Hills.
Exactly.
It really struck me. I was like, this just feels like weirdly too, like everyone's too. Is anyone saying this?
It just feels like it's like people are almost trying to be complimentary in this like moment, and it just comes. It's like, well, spoiler, that's a trope too. Like that is a stereotype, a sexualization that is still problematic, even though you think it's a compliment. Like. It's like being, I don't know. It's just.
Agreed.
There are stereotypes that people think are positive that are still stereotypes and bad and problematic. So.
Yeah. I mean, everyone was kind of laughing it off.
Right.
And I did appreciate and relate to Jill just being upset because no one wanted to have sex with her.
I love that.
Which is like, of course, I would feel sad if everyone's talking about how they want to have sex with each other and no one wants to have sex with me.
And in fairness, Jill is gorgeous, like a beautiful person. But is there a more maternal person?
She doesn't, and I think she's also like said that she isn't someone who likes to project that.
No,
and she's more, and on her show she never was like overtly sexual.
Exactly.
And she's always been these long-term monogamous relationships.
Yeah,
but I do think there's something very funny and relatable about that. And then I think what's nice is like there have been in earlier years of these shows more panic around attraction to women. Do you have sex with them? Are you not? Like the variability of the ways you can be romantically, sexually, friendship, like those all can coexist in kind of a mishmash.
Right.
And now I don't think anyone is like raising an eyebrow or having to define themselves. And so just being like, this is all open. We can all talk about it. And Tamara not saying, I'm not having sex with a woman because I'm straight. She's like, because I'm married.
Yes.
Like, those are the rules. I kind of thought that was cool.
I thought that was cool too. I feel like Vicki wasn't quite there. She was trying. She said
she wasn't awful.
She wasn't awful, but she was still like, oh no, I'm only for men. I only could be with
and
men.
What a great taste in men she has. If anyone is out there to prove the good things men have that women don't, it's Miss Brooks and Lodge, and the best one she got was Don. So Don Gunvalson.
I mean, if you're looking for a man with giant veneers, Vicki will give you their number.
Or the like weird. Remember when they show this and he has like the weird like yellow mangled, but then also I thought, okay, so then we also here get into we go back to the Denise.
We're going back, and it's like Denise isn't on this show, but she gets a whole segment on this episode where Brandi's talking about how that all happened, and then Tamara's like, yeah, when that happened, Denise called me, and my advice to her, which was good advice, was like, if it didn't happen, just don't talk about it, don't give it a lot of life, and it'll go away. It was the opposite. Maybe not Denise's fault because everyone kept bringing it up. And then it also is funny to just like really confirm that Brandi was really about to be on the reunion that season. And then Denise said, if she's there, I won't go. And so she got canceled. It's just a mess. And then Tamara being like, well, yeah, Denise hit on me at BravoCon. And of course they had to put up the like, sources close to Denise deny this. But I also feel it's so bad. Like Denise Richards is on OnlyFans now. Her daughter's on OnlyFans. She seems to, and she's like historically very sexually open. Her first season on the show, she was very sexual. Like it seems like such a short-sighted thing. Like the viewers of The Real Housewives, even though people think it's like a cotton candy TV show, we're not idiots. Like if she were just to be like, oh yeah, we're open. Aaron doesn't get jealous if I sleep with women, but like, you know, whatever. It would be a non-issue.
Yeah.
No one would care. I think your kids even would get over it. Like, I heard her whole thing is like, my kids. Like, well, your kids are on OnlyFans. Like, they understand sexuality in some way. And
look at the tone of the conversation here. Like, it can be light. It can be whatever. So she has the right to deny it, but she made it this big snowball thing. But also, if you're going to have sex with someone on The Housewives and you don't want it to be discussed, don't pick Brandi.
And the thing is, don't pick Brandi and don't pick Tamara.
Yeah.
Like, you could have picked so many more people that would have kept this under wraps for you.
100%.
Those two are not they.
Those two are not they. No.
So, and then Jill says, right, I just think it's so funny, vindicating my Brandi. About like Tamara talking about how Denise hit on her too. I guess the closeness of these women I find surprising. Like, did we see Brandi and Vicki like make up or become close? They're like holding hands. They're kissing on the mouth. It's like, let me sit next to you. Like, when did this happen? I swear, first episode, Vicki was like, she's not a person I'd want to be around. This whole
I don't know.
evolution I find strange. Dorinda is on her best behavior all night. I did like what Brandi said. I actually want to hear from Jill. It's going to sound crazy. And she's still like, must have been hours later, upset that no one wanted to have sex with her. And so she's like, well, then I'm just not going to say anything at this dinner because no one wanted to have sex with me. And it's like, okay.
I love it.
I would do it too. Mm-hmm. Phaedra says something where I just have so many questions about like, who are the gay people around her? She says, I like to be at the top, referring to Brandi's like list of people she wants to have sex with. I like to be at the top, but Brandi is the top. So I guess I'll be a versatile bottom. And it's like, wait, what? Like, who taught you this? Like, where's this coming from? I need to know who the gay people around Phaedra are because she's got a lot of info. There's just a lot.
Were you like, oh, that is like the right way to use it, or were you like, that's the wrong way to use it?
I didn't even
get
there
just
because
the
terminology, I was like, my brain, the waves in my brain were like, wait.
Got it. Okay.
It was just, so maybe I'll have another feeling in a day or something and I'll be able to tell you, but right now.
I do appreciate she's so over the top in her confessionals. She
hilarious.
Just is like, and always just like with like a smirk.
I
it's
know.
Just so like performative.
It's lovely. There's another Taylor Brandi reconciliation. I don't care.
Don't care.
Discussion of their skinniness. I don't care.
Don't care.
Again, this is the best I've liked Tamara this entire season. She goes out, talks to Eva, like trying to be quiet. Taylor makes me snore. And I'm like, girl, agreed. That whole, just because we've had this conversation every night since we've been here. Like, enough. The fake snow outside, I do like.
That was cute.
You know that I have a soft spot for Christmas shit.
You and Dorinda.
Me and Dorinda are very similar in that one way. This also feels like the finale. They're all like holding each other and like the snow's falling. Like, what else happens? Like,
they have one more day?
They have one more day. I assume that means one more episode.
Okay, yeah.
But what else happens from that? Then they do Secret Santa. I kind of stopped taking notes because like, I don't care about...
There's a vibrator.
There's a vibrator and a Gucci scarf that Tamra gets stolen from. She steals it back. She gives Taylor a lap dance. Brandi sits on Jill, gives Jill a lap dance, and Vicki doesn't want one. They dance. And then Dorinda says, we laughed, we cried, and made everyone say, we made it nice. It's like, ugh, truly kill me. But again, a moment that I'm warming to Vicki. Every time I have tequila, it makes me want to have sex. Is the end button of the episode from Vicki much better than that Berserkers bit?
She woke up.
She did.
Vicki woke up.
I hate that it took this long, but it's also like
great episode for Vicki.
And it's like, how bad must Dorinda be that I'm like rooting for Vicki Gunvalson?
Yeah, I know.
A monster.
I know.
So I'm enjoying it. This was a lighter episode. We needed a lighter episode. It could have been a little bit more impactful. But it was cute. It was light.
Had a bit of a clip show moment happening.
It did. There was a lot of flashbacks to everybody's seasons. It's true. It's true.
Do without.
Also on Jill's like subscriber only Instagram, she accidentally confirmed that Tamara is back on the Housewives next season and that Vicki is not happy about it, which is very funny.
That is very funny.
I'm trying to think. Is there any other Housewives news or shit that happened this week of note?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Beverly Hills is still trying my last nerve. No. Oh, no. Well, I guess that's it. We're doing a short episode today. Janie,
short and sweet.
Short and sweet. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Thanks to all the non-Cathys out there.
If you don't know, Janie's very anti.
I'm anti the term Cathy.
She is.
I love the Cathys.
Yes.
I am one technically,
Yes.
but I'd prefer we all, for people out there who don't like the name, we're going to figure out our own thing, okay? We're going to have the trefoils.
Yes.
Or whatever. The tag-along gang.
Whatever it is.
The Girl Scout cookies.
Mm-hmm.
DMs are open. The DMs are open.
It was you and, was it Starbag? I feel like Starbag, our comments are not a Kathy's fan.
Honestly, I like to get into those comments and stir some stuff up, but I didn't have to stir much.
You really didn't. This did not start with you.
No. And your friend Corey doesn't like it either.
Well, too bad. That is my end of note.
Two gay bads.
But thank you for being here. Everyone follow Janie at Janie Fierce, wherever you get your social media. And we'll be back next week with the finale, probably.
Tear for Marco.
I know. We're going to miss Marco the most of all.
Nice.
No, I won't say it. Thank you for watching or listening.
Thank you.
We'll be back next week.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.